Hi, everyone. I'm Kathy Williams, and I am the recruitment specialist here at Oklahoma State University in Tulsa. And I'm here to welcome you to Grad Chats. We did Grad Chats last fall, and we're doing another series this spring. This series, however, is going to be a little bit different. It's going to talk about how to get started in grad school, how to be successful in grad school, and then how to make the best of that graduate certificate, diploma, whatever it is that you earn at the end of as your time there. But we're going to start off right at the beginning. We've got a very special guest today, and her name is Emily Sanderlin, and she is not only my friend and cohort, but she graduated with her bachelor's degree just a couple of years ago. And now she's thinking about possibly going for her master's degree. And like any other undergrad, you have a ton of questions. How do I get started? Who do I talk to? Blah, 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 blah. But I'm going to let Emily ask those questions since that's her area. So Emily, welcome.
Thank you so much, Kathy. I'm excited to be your guest. I'm honored for you to ask me here for this series of grad chats. I do have a lot of questions. I am someone with just a bachelor's degree. I graduated May 2018, so I've been working for a few years, and it's time for me to kind of think about, what are my options, what are my long-term career goals, and things like that. So I wrote down quite a few little questions for you.
That's good. I want to take note of that because I think most people don't do enough of their own research. They don't write down the questions. They get in and talk to somebody and they forget what they needed to ask until they're on their way home. So good job.
Good, thank you. I think that's good for me to know, that that's appreciated and other people won't be afraid to come in with a notebook or something, they're prepared. And yeah, great. So we'll get started with the first one. Just kind of basically, what is the difference between the undergrad experience and the graduate experience?
Wow, that is a big question. That is the $1 million question because there is a huge difference. Basically, you're going to turn in an application that looks more like a resume, and then you're good to go. You no longer have an academic advisor, but you'll get with your faculty, and then you'll take a look at that syllabus that you get. And you need to plan your life around that syllabus. That you need to use the university resources, like the library, student services, ask questions. Don't be afraid to do exactly what you did with your notebook and paper and say, I need to do this. I can tell you personally, I got my master's degree 15 years ago and came back to school to get a certificate. I'd forgotten completely how to cite a paper. So it was like, where do I go? So I went to the library and they helped. I would say the number one word, the word of the day for graduate school is independence. So be strong, get out there and do your thing.
Great, that really answered my question. And what about the difficulty level of the classes that you'll be taking? Is there a big jump from like your senior year of undergrad into your first year of graduate level courses?
Again, another great question. Yes. I was scared to death the first time I took a level 6,000 course because it is a PhD level course, but it's also in some of the master's programs. And again, they are very much research oriented. They're very independent study type things. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's going to be on you. It's going to be up to you. You're going to have to do a lot of your own research and you're going to have to make the time to do it, but it can be done.
So if you're up for the challenge, if all that sounds great, you're ready to do these, sort of independent works and kind of do this investment in yourself and in your future careers and education, how do you know if it's the right program? How do you find a program that is the right fit for you individually?
I would go back to the beginning. What do you want to do for a career? What did you like about your last job? What did you not like about your last job? Same thing about your last, your degree, so that you kind of match. Say for me, I'm not a numbers person, and if I start seeing all kinds of accounting courses and all that, I'm like, no, that's obviously not a program for me. Mm-hmm. Whereas social services might be more of a fit for me. So do, again, your investigation. do a lot of reading, compare the courses that are available in each one of the degree programs. And again, talk, talk, talk to people. Make appointments with other graduate students and find out what they like and what they don't like about it. But there's, again, a lot of research, a lot of self-searching, if you will, to find out, is this what I want to do for the rest of my life? So that's a really good question.
Yeah, great. Thank you for the answer. So if there's a certain graduate program I'm interested in and it has different options where it says, you know, the same sort of title for the graduate degree, but an option in this or an option in that, what would be the differences between those different degrees? How would I pick an option? Will it affect the kind of job I get one day?
Well, again, it's pretty much back to that same question, is taking a look at the specifics of those course outlines, talking to the academic professor, talking about what degree or what job that you want, and then start comparing, you know, is this a research type course or is this more of a hands-on person? I talked with a student last week that was interested in one of two programs that are very similar. And I said, do you want to be behind the desk? Do you want to be that person that is a one-on-one person, or would you rather do research and do more of those type of internal studies? And it was like, yeah, I'm really more inclined to do that. So ask the questions, ask the very specific questions. And again, keep your notebook handy and take a lot of notes.
Okay, great. So you're saying reach out to people. Where do I start? Who do I talk to first? I see that, you know,
just did.
there are lots of people to talk to. So you're step one.
Mm-hmm.
Where do I go from here?
Okay. With me being step one and having the knowledge of different programs and also as well as the different professors, then I can help to answer, just like we've done today, answer these specific questions. Then I know who to guide you to as far as, you know, which professor to talk to, go to this professor to ask this question. And if that doesn't, you know, suit kind of, you know, the direction that you're looking for, then you just go to the next person. But seriously, two things: talk to other students, and then go out there in the field and say, if you wanted to be a counselor, go to a counseling center and actually talk to counselors who are actually working in that field. See if they like what they're doing. See if it fits something that you think you would want to do long term. So asking a lot of questions, asking people in the field, asking current students, and asking those who would be your professor.
Great. So what is your advice when it comes to someone who already has a full-time job, who are, you know, working 40 hours a week and are interested in grad school? Is it doable? What would your advice be?
It is absolutely 100% doable. I'm a perfect example of that. I'm working full-time and I put myself back in graduate school to get a graduate certificate so that I could further my career. Most of our classes are offered in the evening, and some of our classes are even offered, like I had one class this last semester that it was one Saturday a month. So it's extremely doable. But again, I'm going to caution you and encourage you to go back to your syllabus and plan ahead. Look a month, 2 months down the road and say, okay, my paper, this huge 25-page paper, is due in 4 weeks. So then you can, you know, plan your schedule accordingly. But we have tons of students that are working, full-time parents, and they're doing just fine because they're bettering themselves. And the cool thing about grad school is when you get to graduate college is, you know what you want to do. You know, you have this idea, you have this ambition. You're not kind of, you know, waffling around as you were as an undergrad, not sure what I want to do. I don't know, switch my major, da 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 da. By the time you get to grad school, you're ready. You are very ambitious and you have much more of a determination, if you will. So yes, it is very doable, and I encourage anyone who is considering it to do that.
Great. You mentioned that you're in a graduate certificate program.
Yes.
Can you explain the difference between a graduate degree and a graduate certificate?
I would be happy to. I love these graduate certificates. Okay, so you finished your bachelor's degree. That's one thing. That is done. It's over with, because by the time you apply for graduate college, again, you are doing a resume, you're doing letters of reference, you're doing your transcripts, you're doing all of these things just like you're starting at the very beginning. And then when you get into it, you have these decisions to make. Do I want to go to a full-blown master's degree program, which could take anywhere from 2 to 4 years, depending upon the level of research. But the graduate certificates, there are so many of our programs that are developing these wonderful things called graduate certificates. They are fully certified. In other words, you have to apply to get in. You can walk when you're done, so you get to graduate just like the regular graduate students do. And it only takes a year to do. In other words, you do one class a semester and you're done. And basically there's no pre-entrance exam like a GRE or a GMAT. You don't have to do any of those. And the beautiful part of this is that when you're done with this graduate certificate in only a year, say you get a graduate certificate in HR management, number one, that's wonderful to add to your resume. But number two, say, well, I decided I really like school again and I'd like to do my MBA. So then all of those credits that you took for your HR certificate roll right into that MBA program. So you kind of halfway finished it. So it's almost like a little mini master's. So they're wonderful. I'm excited. My graduate certificate is in college teaching because I want to help you guys do the next step. So there it is.
Very cool. So it's kind of a stepping stone into a graduate degree. Maybe if you're not ready to commit fully, you want to test out school again, a graduate certificate could be a good option.
It's a perfect option, especially for that very reason, for testing it out, saying, I don't know that I'm ready to make that commitment yet for a full-on master's degree. Well, just do the graduate certificate and decide, at that point. Another thing about these is that if you take 3 of them, you can stack them and have a multidisciplinary master's degree. So there's so many options with these. They're I don't want to say they're easy because they're level 5,000 and level 6,000 courses, but they're easy to complete and they're easy to get your foot in the door to decide what you want to do next.
Great. So my last question, kind of just to wrap it up, what are the benefits of getting a master's degree? Why should someone do this?
It's called money. It's called competition and money. Getting your bachelor's degree is a great step, but the competition level is crazy. I mean, you're competing against other people that may have a master's degree. I know that if you look at any job description, some of the minimum requirements is a master's degree program. So it's one of those things where you go in and you put yourself one step ahead above the pack. And when you send out that resume to a company, they're going to look at it. That's you. That's all you have to represent yourself is that piece of paper. And if you send yours out with a bachelor's degree and somebody else sends theirs out with a master's degree or even a PhD, the employer is going to look at it and go, well, they invested a lot more time in their education right over here. And so, boom, that's the direction they're going to go. So it's kind of critical these days as far as advancing your career is concerned and getting that extra buck or two on that paycheck. So.
Well, great. I think that's all the questions I have for you. It's been very helpful to listen to you kind of talk, and you can tell you're passionate about this and helping your students kind of figure everything out. So
I love it.
Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward personally to watching the next two, of the Grad Chat series and kind of learn
Awesome.
about what it takes and what to do afterward.
Thank you so much, Emily, for being here. And they were very, very poignant and very, very logical questions that I would hope that any undergrad would ask as they enter into a graduate program. And I'm glad that you mentioned the next two grad chats, because we are going to have, the next one's going to be how to be successful in grad school. And then the one after that is what to do with that grad school degree. So how to market yourself, how to put that brand out there, and get the money back that you've spent investing in your education. So again, thank you so much for being here today. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing what you're going to do in the future.
Thank you. It was fun.
Bye.
Bye, Kathy.